Me and Jay connected through G. Roberson back in, I want to say like 2000. The short, it's actually a long story, but the shortest way I can put it is he tracked me down through a meeting that he had with somebody else, and he had heard some of my music. Rockefeller was looking to put together a production team at the time, so I got a cold call out of nowhere, like, hey, calling from Rockefeller Records, we want to put together a production team, we're interested in you. We have this new kid named Kanye West, Rock Wilder, Buck Wild, and K-Rock. And I'm like, all right, cool, I already have management, let's talk. And needless to say, the production team never materialized. But I maintained a great working relationship with them, and I ended up engineering the first Emil album. And I would send them beats. Like back then, I didn't have access to Jay. I couldn't just call him. I couldn't just email him. I always had to go through somebody, and I would send music to Jay via these different channels, and people would just be like, "Oh, he said the music is cool, but the drums suck," or "He likes the drums, he doesn't like the sample." It was always just something, and I'm like, "Oh, you should say, like, yo, if somebody just gets us in a room together, I know it'll go down." So, G had an artist named Bathgate at the time who was signed to Virgin. Okay. So there was a record that Emil did. It was a Bathgate record, and then we were gonna put Emil on it. Then we decided to make it Emil featuring Bathgate. Jay hears the verse and he's like, "Yo, that kid is dope, but I'm getting on this record. Take him off. I'm jumping on this." So Jay does the record with Emil, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, who did this?" And they're like, "Oh, Just." And they're like, and he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, cool. Tell him some more music." So I had sent him the beat that became Streets is Talking. I sent him the beat that became Streets is Talking, and he demoed it instantly, like right on the spot. I didn't even know. I got a call the next day, like, "Yo, he put vocals to it already." So they're like, "Why don't you come down to the studio and listen to it? He'll be at this new studio we just built called Baseline." So I go over there, and while I play it for him, he plays it for me. I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." I'm just elated to be in the room with him, And he goes in the booth to do vocals to the song that ended up becoming a Parking Lot Pimpin'. So while he's in there, I have an MP in the room. I turn on the MPC and I just make a beat in my headphones, play it for him when he comes out, and he's like, "What's this? This is crazy." I'm like, "I just made this right now." He's like, "How?" I was in the booth. I'm like, "Yeah, just had the headphones on." He's like, "So you just made this while I was rapping just now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, stick around. We're gonna make you a star, and that room over there is yours."
Like that, huh?
Yeah, and that was that.
So had you not made that beat right there on the spot, that probably wouldn't have happened in that
capacity. Yeah, it might not have happened that way. No. Yeah. I mean, I was pretty much already tied into Rockefeller at that point because, like, I had done all the Emil album. I had a record or two with Beanie Sigel and Memphis Bleak, but the J connection hadn't happened yet, and that's what really solidified things. Where it was like, okay, give this kid a song deal. You know what I mean? Like, they paid me for like 25 beats up front.
Really?
Yeah. So like, and that's kind of what I was never signed to them. We just had a deal where it was like, we like your music. We are who we are. We're gonna pay you up front for some music. You can still go do whatever you want, work with whoever else you want. But when you have that kind of working arrangement with arguably the biggest rap label at the time and the non-arguably the biggest rap star of that time, why would you really be wanting to go anywhere else? Might as well just stay there. I don't know if I would say that Jay's the most talented. He's obviously he may be the most talented. I think if it's not Jay. See, it's different. Like, I had great experience working with Jay, great experience working with Eminem. But they're two totally different approaches. Jay's approach to work is very much like Jay's personality. Very laid back, kind of just lets me do me. And doesn't really get in the middle too much. Like sometimes I'll just give him a skeleton beat, he'll rap on it, and then just be like, all right, finish it up. And that's that. Whereas Eminem is very much hands-on with the process. So they're both very creative and super talented, but just in very different ways. Em is there when you're making the beat sometimes. He's there when you're mixing. He's there tweaking and mixing his own vocals. He has like dog hearing, so he'll be like, turn this up a half a dB, turn the bass up like a quarter dB at this frequency. Like, he's very much of a scientist with it. Where Jay is just more so like, sounds good, all right, cool, I'm out.
So who do you think won on Renegade? As someone who's worked with both of them. When you heard that, because that was always the big question on everyone's mind until the song came out.
Who, I don't know. I would have to go back and listen to it. I love both of their verses. I never really listened to it from the aspect or from the perspective of who outdid who. I just kind of took it in as like the event, like that everybody wanted to hear, which is they're both on a record. For me, that was good enough.
I tell my son, man, you can't afford me, man.
You gonna charge you for a verse, huh?
Yeah, I'm charging. He got money.
Dave Chappelle is a different type of animal, man. His comedic talent and timing is like no other. And I gotta honestly say, I can't disagree in any way, shape, or form.